The Turkish Angora is one of the world's oldest aboriginal breeds. It is a graceful and sociable cat with long silky hair. Long silky fur and fluffy tail, slender paws and multicolored eyes, the Turkish Angora is so beautiful that it seems as if it has just left the pages of a fairy tale book. Her beautiful appearance is perfectly matched by royal and gracefulness, as well as dog's devotion to her master. Due to the considerable number of positive qualities, the Turkish Angora has earned a huge popularity among cat lovers. The Turkish Angora is a favorite breed of aristocrats and rulers with a long history of development. Angora cats of snow-white color with blue or bicolor, one blue, the other yellow, eyes are especially appreciated. An agile, playful animal requires minimal care and is well trained. A majestic and graceful pet is attached to only one person, whom it recognizes as the owner. History of the origin of the Turkish Angora. Turkish Angoras are incredibly beautiful, graceful and intelligent cats, which have long been liked by the inhabitants of the Middle East and have become their noble favorites. It is assumed that the ancestors of these cats were their wild Middle Eastern cousins, which were especially abundant in the vicinity of modern Ankara and Turkey. According to one of the legends, the Prophet Muhammad had a beloved cat, Muiza, with eyes of different colors, white hair and a fluffy tail. None of the animals had the right to enter the mosque, and only she was allowed to do so. It is believed that this cat was precisely the Angora breed. Interesting fact, in Turkey, these cats were often presented for significant family events, wedding, birth of an heir, as well as ambassadors of other states as a sign of special respect. Also, Angora cats have been popular pets in the homes of the rulers of the Middle East for centuries. In Europe, the first representatives of this breed appeared during the Crusades, and with the beginning of active trade with the Ottoman Empire, 16th century, cats were gifted to European monarchs who deserved a special favor with the Eastern rulers. It was merchants who brought them to Europe. Gradually, white fluffy Angora cats settled in almost all the royal courts of Europe. Turkish Angoras were brought to Russia a little later, during the Russian-Turkish Wars. The British fell in love with Angora cats, began to breed them, and already at the end of the 19th century began to present them at exhibitions. In the homeland of cats, in Turkey, unfortunately, no one was engaged in breeding cats for quite a long time, and their population gradually became very small. The situation changed radically in the 20s of the last century, when Angora cats were raised in one of the zoos in Ankara. Around the same time, these beautiful cats were given national treasure status, which implies a ban on their export from the country. The ban was somewhat weakened only 40 years later, in the 60s, but with one condition, obtaining a special permit from the authorities to export the Angora cat. Few managed to get permission. Among them were the spouses of two American diplomats, thanks to whom the Turkish Angoras got to the United States, where they also did not remain indifferent to their beauty. Turkish Angora, breed description. The Turkish Angora is not too big a cat. At the same time, she looks much larger than her true size due to her long coat, slender limbs and a long fluffy tail. According to breed standards, the height of the Turkish Angora at the withers is about 35 centimeters. The weight of the male is no more than 5 kilograms and the female is no more than 3 kilograms. The cat's physique is taut, slender, elongated. The head is of medium size in the shape of a wedge or triangle set on a graceful and refined neck. The cat's eyes are quite large, slightly slanted, one might even say, almond-shaped, like a real oriental beauty. The iris of the eyes comes in a wide variety of colors, and the same animal often has eyes of different colors. The ears are also large, set high, pointed and with small tassels at the tips. The coat of the Turkish Angora is long, very soft and silky, with practically no undercoat. It is most elongated in the neck, chest, hind legs, between the toes. On the back of the cat there is a so-called raincoat, consisting of long guard hairs. It should be noted that all guard hairs have a hollow structure, which undoubtedly helps the animal to feel comfortable enough both in hot and cool conditions. The color of the coat of these cats is quite varied, but the purely white color is considered the most valuable. The tail of this cat is worthy of a separate description. In length, it can compete with the length of the entire body of a cat, and in appearance it resembles a peacock's feather. Popular colors of Turkish Angora. In the homeland of Angora cats, in Turkey, as well as in Russia, Britain and the United States, it is generally accepted that it is the snow-white coat color that is characteristic and original for this breed. In this case, the nose and paw pads of the animal should be pink. Such an erroneous opinion appeared for the simple reason that purely white Turkish Angoras are most common today. Probably, many will be extremely surprised, but these cats acquired white coat color not so long ago, in the middle of the last century, when one of the breeders had the idea to bet on this color. The idea was taken up by many, and as a result, many pure white Angora cats appeared in the world. Today, the following shades of coat are characteristic of the Turkish Angora cat breed: cream, red, light blue, black or blue smoky, marble, tiger, marble, patchwork, silver, brown, blue, red, cream tabby, chintz and light chintz, tortoiseshell, bluish cream, white and red, white and blue, white and cream. Such a variety of colors of Angora cats were first recognized not in their homeland, but in the United States. Without thinking twice, other countries followed this example, and Turkey was almost the last on this list. Interesting fact, it is worth noting that over the past centuries, the appearance of cats has hardly changed, but, as already mentioned, bright white Angoras are most common. At the same time, the most valuable are individuals whose pedigree originates precisely from Turkey. On top of that, as a bonus, the creator rewarded the Turkish Angora with 6, which never gets confused and practically does not fade. The nature and habits of the Turkish Angora. Angora cats are very smart, reserved, intelligent, wise, affectionate, and active pets. At the same time, they are incredibly patient and easygoing, which allows them to get along well, not only with adults and children, but even with dogs. These are cats with a light disposition, sociable, but at the same time unobtrusive. Getting into the family as a kitten, Turkish Angoras often choose one master for themselves and obey only him. The loyalty of these cats knows no boundaries and is somewhat comparable to that of a dog. These cats are never shy, they are always close to their owners. Even if guests came to the house, the Angora cat will not hide somewhere in a secluded corner, but will definitely come out to see who came there, get to know everyone, and show itself in all its glory. Interesting fact, the intelligence of Angora cats deserves special attention. It allows animals to memorize almost all movements of the owner, how cabinets, doors and even a refrigerator are opened in the house. Tenacity is another characteristic of the Turkish Angora. If the cat wants to play, and the owner suddenly took the toy from her, she will trace where she was hidden, and then she will definitely find this object, pull it out and play with it further. It is also common for these animals to memorize the voices of their owners and distinguish among them the voices of their favorites. These cats are also very playful, and at any age, even a very old one. Therefore, toys in the house should always be available. In games, animals love to demonstrate their extreme agility and jumping. Interesting facts about Turkish Angora. Angora cats, like no others, are prone to the manifestation of heterochromia, a different color of the eye iris. The reason for this phenomenon is the increased or decreased content of melanin in the iris of the eye. Heterochromia is more common in animals, dogs, cats, than in humans. Because of this, one eye can be blue and the other green, yellow, or brown. Angora cats are often very talkative, and the manner of their speech is rather unusual and somewhat specific. Of course, they also know how to meow, but they rarely do it. Most often, these cats purr in their uterus without opening their mouths and thus manage to convey the entire spectrum of emotions from pleasure to irritation and anger. Thanks to its excellent health, this breed is a long liver among cats, often living up to 20 years or more. Turkish Angoras are real hunters to the marrow of bones and the tip of their tail. Since ancient times, they have a reputation for being excellent mice. Also, due to the innate ability to jump, they can catch birds in flight and do it at any opportunity. Therefore, when keeping such cats in city apartments where there is absolutely no opportunity to hunt, their owners must definitely provide them with daily games. As toys, rubber or plush balls are suitable, as well as imitation of rodents and birds. These cats, more than their other brothers, like to climb somewhere higher, on the table, on the closet, and from there watch what is happening below. Angora cats are generally very obedient and docile. Therefore, if it is available to them to explain that something cannot be done, they will never violate the prohibition. The Turkish Angora has many canine traits. For example, they quickly learn different tricks and commands. They bring a bowl or other objects in their teeth to the owner, open doors and cabinets with their paw, turn on the light or TV. Pros and cons of Turkish Angora. The Angora cat has both its advantages and some disadvantages. Advantages. High intelligence. A soft and docile character, which manifests itself in love for all family members and almost unquestioning obedience. Dog loyalty. Ability to quickly adapt to any living conditions, apartment maintenance, life in a private house, playfulness and activity at any age, love for affection and attention, sociability, tolerance to other animals, cats and even dogs, trainability and ability to train, disease resistance, longevity propensity. With an average life expectancy of 13 to 16 years, many cats live up to 20, love for walks. At the same time, unlike other breeds, leash training is quick and easy. Disadvantages. Stubbornness and persistence, some obsession, a sense of ownership and a constant need for attention, a large amount of will during molting and not only, genetic predisposition to deafness, which is most often manifested in cats with a white coat, the rarity of the breed. In the last couple of decades, the demand for this breed has dropped somewhat, as many cat owners complain about the problem in acquiring a purebred Turkish Angora due to the large distribution of mestizos even in catteries. In this regard, it is not even worth talking about private breeders of the Turkish Angora. Another reason for the decline in demand is the emergence of new breeds and an increase in interest in them. Breeding of Turkish Angoras. Those who are planning to seriously engage in breeding such a breed of cats as the Turkish Angora should know that mating of two individuals with white hair is highly undesirable, since future offspring have a serious risk of developing deafness. There is even an unspoken ban on this among breeders in Western Europe. This measure has significantly reduced the number of kittens born with deafness. Although there are quite a few nurseries engaged in the breeding of Angora cats, as the experience of recent years shows, it is quite difficult to find a purebred partner with a pure pedigree for mating. It is highly desirable that the cat already have experience, that is, be untied. Do I need to say that a kitty intended for breeding also has an impeccable pedigree? In addition to checking the pedigree of both mating partners, it is also important to have them examined by a veterinarian. Usually a separate room is allocated for mating. In this case, it is very desirable to leave the animals alone. The mating process with all foreplay can last from 2 to 5 days. Sexual maturity in a Turkish Angora cat occurs at about the age of 1 year or a little earlier. Purely hypothetically, mating can be carried out already at this age. Experienced breeders have a different opinion on this matter. They advise to skip a few cycles of the cat and only then lead her to mating. The optimal characteristics for starting breeding in an Angora cat are 1.5 years old, weight 3 kilograms, as well as good physical shape and absence of diseases. At the same time, the recommended frequency of birth for a cat is twice in 3 years. This allows the animal's body to fully recover in order to give birth to strong and healthy offspring again. The gestation period for the Angora cat is approximately 9 weeks. The female can give birth on her own up to 10 years. After this age, it is better not to mate, since there is a risk of giving birth to a weakened or sick offspring. During pregnancy, the owner of the cat must carefully monitor the state of her health. If any alarming symptoms appear, it is better not to self-medicate, but to consult a veterinarian. The first birth in a Turkish Angora can last 2 to 6 hours. Young inexperienced cats often meow during childbirth, thus urging the owner to help. In the event that labor is weakened, labor can be delayed for a day. In this case, it is better to take the cat to the clinic, where it can be provided with professional assistance. After giving birth, the offspring and the woman in labor are moved to a spacious box with clean bedding. Turkish Angora care. Like other pets, Angora cats need regular grooming, which includes bathing, eye and ear care, hair brushing, and clipping. It is worth noting that it is not at all necessary to bathe the Turkish Angora if it does not appear at all on the street, since the animals do a good job with their hygiene on their own, licking their wool daily. If the animal is for show, then bathing is one of the stages of its preparation for the upcoming demonstration. It is clear that you only need to bathe your cat with a special shampoo while trying not to wet her head and ears. In general, too frequent water procedures are contraindicated for cats, since the protective fat layer is washed off the skin when bathing. The eyes of Angora cats should be wiped a couple of times a week. For this, cotton swabs dipped in chamomile broth or weekly brewed black tea are well suited. In this case, a separate swab is used for each eye. If, during the care, signs of infection, redness, pus, suddenly appear, then the pet should be shown to the veterinarian. An important fact, pets' ears are also examined about once a week for redness and rashes and are wiped with wet hypoallergenic or baby wipes. Clipping the claws in cats is not a mandatory procedure, since you can purchase a special device for grinding claws, a scratching post. If the animal is prone to scratching or ruining furniture, then it is better to cut the claws. This should be done about once every 2 weeks with the help of special scissors or nippers, which can be bought at the pet store. The diet of Turkish Angora. Angora cats are often characterized by sensitive digestion, so their nutrition requires special attention. As for the pet's diet, it should be nutritious and carefully balanced. If you want to feed your cat with natural products, it is advisable to contact a professional who will help you create the right menu, taking into account all the needs of the feline body. In this case, the third of the diet of the Turkish Angora should be proteins. The most beneficial protein foods for cats: hen, turkey, sea fish. The menu should also contain cereals, rice, oats, buckwheat, vegetables, carrots, pumpkin, cauliflower, milk, yogurt, kefir, cottage cheese, eggs, chicken, quail. It is highly undesirable to feed cats of this breed monotonously, as well as leftovers from the master's table. After all, this method of feeding guarantees the receipt of digestive disorders and all sorts of allergic reactions. After all, human food for a cat is too salty, spicy and fatty, plus it contains a bunch of harmful additives. Important, if the cat has a bright white coat color, then in order for it to remain this way from the menu, it is advisable to exclude some offal, liver, kidneys, heart, and seaweed. If the owner prefers to feed the cat with specialized food, then it is best to give preference to dry or wet premium food. With any method of feeding, and especially for dry food, it is very important to provide the animal with constant access to water. In this case, the water must be clean and fresh. In addition, unlike other cat breeds, Angoras love to drink, doing it quite often. Also, be sure to offer the animal a special herb. You can grow it yourself or buy it ready-made at a pet store. The herb is necessary for the animal to cleanse the intestines from wool. It is also important to consider their age and physical condition when feeding cats. So, for example, kittens and pregnant women need to be fed more often 3 to 4 times a day. Adult cats should be fed twice a day. In addition, sick and elderly cats require a special diet. Diseases and health problems. In general, Angora cats are in excellent health and do not get sick very often due to their innate strong immunity. A couple of decades ago, due to acquired genetic mutations, cats with deafness were often met. Moreover, the appearance of deafness was characteristic only of blue-eyed individuals with white hair. Thanks to selective selection and the ban on mating two white Angora cats, the risk of this pathology has been significantly reduced. In Western Europe, at present, all purebred cats with white hair must be tested for deafness using a special test. In addition to deafness, the Turkish Angora has 2 more serious diseases, ataxia and hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is caused by hypertrophy of the heart muscle, which is manifested by the following symptoms: cough, dyspnea, fatigue under exertion. If the disease is diagnosed on time, then it can be quickly and successfully cured. A disease such as ataxia is found only in Angora cats. Its symptoms are manifested in a sharp violation of the coordination of movements, after which the animal completely stops moving and dies. Unfortunately, today this disease is not yet cured. In addition to a few diseases, the Turkish Angora may have some physical defects that do not allow them to participate in exhibitions. They include too large eyes, too rounded head, short limbs, somewhat squat build, knotted or not long enough tail. Turkish Angora, price and how to buy it correctly. It is believed that buying a Turkish Angora kitten is quite simple, since the breed is very common in the world. This opinion is somewhat mistaken. It is worth knowing that it was not the thoroughbred individuals of the Turkish Angora that were more widespread, but their mestizos. This is especially true for the countries of Eastern Europe. And if you start to understand thoroughly, then the number of mestizos literally rolls over, not only with private breeders, but also in nurseries. At the same time, there are not so many truly purebred Angora cats available. Mostly these are individuals whose pedigree roots originate in Turkey. These were the same local Angora cats that the sultans once gave to European monarchs as a sign of special favor or in honor of significant events. An important fact, if a person is not particularly versed in the standards of the Turkish Angora breed, then it is best to ask for help from professionals. The price of an Angora kitten, of course, depends not only on the pedigree, but also on the state of his health and color. On average, a thoroughbred Angora kitten will cost its future owner from $150 to $500. When buying a kitten, it is important to check all documents, pedigree and veterinary card. It is clear that the documents must be in order. As for Turkish Angora kittens without documents, their price starts from $70. Therefore, no one gives any guarantee that this is exactly the Turkish Angora. Most likely it will be a mestizo. Although if people just want to have a cute furry pet at home, what difference does it make where the roots of his pedigree come from, and is there any? For quite a long time, these pussies have been extremely popular both in Turkey and abroad. However, with the advent of new cat breeds with long hair, the Turkish Angora was gradually forgotten. About a century ago, thanks to caring people in Turkey, it was decided to revive the Aboriginal breed. The Turks succeeded, although a lot of budget funds were invested. To date, it is forbidden to export local cats of the Turkish Angora breed from Turkey.